First of all, thank God the Pro Bowl is over.
That was an embarrassment to everybody that called themselves a football fan or player.
I think I tweeted out my own on my own Twitter account that I think Madden would probably do a better job with this with
I felt
football.
like I was watching a video game, a Madden video game. I literally watched 1/4 of it, and when I saw the defensive line jogging, just up and not even trying, I'm like, I understand. I understand they don't want to get injured. I understand that the game really doesn't mean anything. I mean, the payers don't even get paid that much. So what's the point? I
True.
mean, the players get a free vacation. I know it just seems like it's more for the players than it is for the fans. They tried to integrate the fans a little more with, oh, we're gonna have Twitter stations on the sidelines, and so I don't care. That's not gonna make me watch the game and be interested in it.
And it's official. We have just now passed Jeremy and Matt's version of their Pro Bowl talk
Yes.
from the previous show. Moving on, we're gonna hit the Super Bowl. We've got since Jeremy and Matt took care of the AFC champion
It's a
Patriots.
shame they got stuck with the Patriots.
We're gonna take the New York Giants.
Winners, obviously.
Yeah, I mean clearly.
Mm-hmm.
You did come up with a tweet earlier or a couple weeks ago that said the team that has the closest to go
Proximity
to the Super Bowl site.
Yes.
Who was it?
It is the Giants by maybe I want to say like 40 miles.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Go ahead and mark down everything you need because of
G-Man.
that one stat.
Right there.
The past
you don't need to know
five Super
anything
Bowl
else.
champions have done that, so
Mhm.
we're good.
Yep, you don't need to know anything else.
Can we go ahead and end the video now?
Cut
cool.
it.
Let's start with most important position in football. Let's go ahead and actually in all sports, to be honest with you. Let's start with Eli Manning. Eli Manning has had a phenomenal year.
Terrific.
He pretty much has put the Manning name back on when everyone's like, "Oh, Peyton's out." That means that the Manning name's pretty much done for the year. Eli said, "Nope, this is going to be my year."
Yep.
So again, we're talking a 9-7 Giants team compared to that 10-6 Giants team from 2007.
First time ever, I believe, a 9-7 team has ever made the Super Bowl.
And we're also talking no. There's been plenty of 9-7s that have made the Super Bowl. Whether or not they won is a different story. But we're also talking a 9-7 Giants team who has beat a 10-6 Falcons team, a Green Bay team who was 15-1,
right,
and a San Francisco Giants team, or excuse me, San Francisco, sorry,
hey,
he's got the Braves shirt on.
That's
I'm
right.
thinking
I have
already.
baseball fever.
A San Francisco 49ers team that was what 13-3 at the time.
I believe so.
Somewhere around there, 14-3 after their playoff win. So you're talking a team that has continued to beat teams that have better records. And it's not going to be any different considering the Patriots had a 13-3 record at the end of the season. So
and the way that the Giants have gotten to the Super Bowl is arguably much more impressive than the way the Patriots have gotten to the Super Bowl.
How so?
Well, who have the Patriots beaten in the playoffs?
Denver.
Not a playoff team.
The
Ravens. Was a bye, remember? That was a bye. Ravens. They were outplayed by the Ravens. That's one of the only games I've watched this year where the winning team was outplayed. The Giants went through Dallas, who I'm a huge Dallas fan, but that was for the playoff. That was for the division. It's a hard game. It's a rival division. They beat them. They played the Falcons, who came in with a good amount of hype and should have done better than they did.
I agree.
They beat the Niners. I mean, they beat Packers next round. Everybody thought the Packers were going to be the Super Bowl champions.
Yep.
Nobody even saw the Packers losing a game, and they shut down the Packers in a way that I don't believe I saw them shut down at all this year. The way they disrupted Aaron Rodgers and the way they got to him in the pocket, the way that front four has played in the past 4 to 5 games is disturbing how well they've gotten to the quarterback. And then they go on and beat the 49ers, who Alex Smith against the Saints looked very, very good, very proficient. Not doing anything necessarily flashy, but being an extremely good game manager and being on target. They made Alex Smith look like a high school quarterback.
True, but it didn't matter because the 49ers kept in the game for a long period of time, and they did let the 49ers stick around.
Did you ever feel that the 49ers had a legitimate chance of winning that game?
Absolutely, I did.
I didn't feel that since after the first quarter, I didn't feel that they had a legitimate chance of winning that game at all.
Let's talk about the offensive numbers. In the past three playoff games, the Giants are averaging 404 yards a game, which is solid. That is probably better than the Patriots have faced all season.
Mm-hmm.
They're also averaging 321 yards allowed on defense, which is another solid
Very
stat.
solid, especially in the playoff against the elite quarterbacks you face, the
The
elite
front
offenses.
four of the Giants looks a lot, maybe different names, but they look a lot like the 2007 Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2007 Giants took care of the Patriots offensive line at
Mm-hmm.
that point. 6-1. The Giants have a 6-1 turnover ratio in the playoffs. They only turned it over that one pick that Eli threw in the Packers game. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And if you saw the way Tom Brady looked against the Ravens, he's ripe for a few interceptions in this game. Brady was missing wide open receivers in that game.
Hmm.
He had probably 3 or 4 interceptions that the Ravens secondary just dropped. He did not look on to me. He looked.
No, and noticeably so, because I mean Brady even came out after the game and said that was a terrible game. He
Mm-hmm.
said it won't happen again,
I
and
don't
he's
believe
actually
that.
come out and told what was it, Belichick or Robert Kraft? He said, "Sorry, that won't happen again." He
Mm-hmm.
said, "I will play better in the Super Bowl."
Yeah, I heard Ben Roethlisberger say that, but not about football.
Oh
Don't believe
wow!
him.
And we've just gone off color. The other thing that stuck out to me, the Giants are probably one of the most penalized teams in the playoffs right now. They've committed 19 penalties in the playoffs. So that's 3 games. You're averaging penalties a game. That's rough.
Well, it depends on when you get the penalties. If it's one of those holding penalties that brings back a 30 to 40 yard Hakeem Snick reception, that's a killer.
Hmm.
If it's a holding or a false start penalty that brings back maybe a 2 or 3 yard run by Brandon Jacobs or something, it's not that bad. It's where they're getting the penalties, and you don't see them get the penalties in the bad points in the game. Penalties are bad no matter what, but the killer penalties that pull back a huge gain, a touchdown, a game-turning interception, a turnover, something like that, those are killer. Those are momentum shifters.
163 yards committed to penalties
Hmm.
this in the past 3 games. Let's talk about Eli real quick. The Eli has to have a big game in this,
Absolutely.
I think,
Absolutely.
because no offense, and I understand that the whole Brandon Jacobs, Ahmad Bradshaw, two-headed rushing monster. It's a huge aspect of their
The
offense.
NFL is a quarterback-driven league.
I agree.
Plain and simple, bottom line, if you do not have an elite quarterback, you're probably not going to win games in the NFL.
I mean, look at last year's Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Aaron Rodgers,
Aaron Rodgers, yep.
elite quarterback.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can go down the list of the past 5 Super Bowls
Hmm.
and see the winners had elite
Hmm.
quarterbacks. So I think Eli has to have a monster game.
I think if he has a monster game, he moves himself up into that elite group. I don't think he's there yet, but if he puts up the numbers like he has to win this game, he will definitely be in that elite group in the NFL right now.
I'll go ahead and put on my Jeremy hat and ask you, since you were out last week,
Hmm.
if Eli wins this, does he surpass his brother as the better Manning?
No way. Nope. Longevity plays a big thing into it. And if Eli
Even
play
though he has 2 rings.
Yep. If Eli plays another 2 or 3 years at the same productivity, doesn't even have to win a ring, makes a few more playoffs, then yes, he is better than his brother. But the longevity of Peyton Manning, plus we don't know what else Peyton Manning is going to do in his career. You know, he could come back from this surgery. It's a very major surgery, so it's not possible. I mean, it's very unlikely, but he very well could come back and win a Super Bowl ring. We all thought Breeze was down and out when he had his shoulder surgery coming out of San Diego.
Hmm.
His best years were after that surgery, so I
This
think
is true.
it's a kind of a wait and see process. But right now, Manning is better just for the longevity of his career and just for what he's done over a body of work, rather than what Eli Manning has done in the short period, which Eli has been extremely impressive over the time he has been in the NFL. But he is not better than his brother, in my opinion.
Let's talk about that Giants defense. The Giants defense, like I said earlier, is averaging 321 yards allowed during the 3 playoff
Mm-hmm.
games, which is against the Falcons, the high-powered offense of the Packers, and the so-so offense of the 49ers, who actually had a pretty good game in my opinion. Granted, it wasn't through the air, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants defense is going up against a offense of the Patriots that is just so high powered
Mm-hmm.
that Brady can throw to pretty much anybody that has a number on his back
Mm-hmm.
and still make yards.
Well, I look at the Patriot offense a lot like I compared them to the 49ers offense.
Okay.
With Rob Gronkowski having that high ankle sprain, you don't recover from that in a week and a half. You don't. I've had 4 or 5 of those. It doesn't happen. That's not possible. You can't be 100% in a week and a half after a high ankle sprain. Um, Aaron Hernandez, he's not as big of an athlete as Vernon Davis. He's a different athlete, but he's very good. And the Giants did a very good job of shutting down Vernon Davis. I think the one um, tangible that the Patriots have that the 49ers did not is that wide receiver. Wes Welker needs to be that breakout wide receiver in this game, and Tom Brady, if they have a shot at winning, he has to step up and complete those passes to the open receivers that he did not did. But the Giants did a terrific job of getting to Alex Smith, getting in his face, disrupting his timing. They have to do that to Brady. If they think they're going to sit back there in the secondary, pick Brady off and play coverage with him and not rush more than 4 or 5 people, not get in his face,
Hmm.
not disrupt his timing, and they think they're going to win, they're in for a long day at the office.
Let's talk about the wide receiver core for the Giants real quick and compare the two how you think they're going to do against the cornerbacks in the secondary of New England. New England has been known to give up some points. I mean, they were 31st, I think, out of the league in in the regular season in passing. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to think it's going to be giving up some points in the air.
Absolutely.
I mean, look what Eli did against the 32nd ranked defense against the pass in the Packers. He lit them up. So
Mhm.
you have to think they may actually have a shot to do this also.
Absolutely. And the Patriots haven't faced a passing attack like they're going to face this week. They faced Tim Tebow. That's a
Yeah,
running back at the
okay.
quarterback position.
Next.
They've faced Joe Flacco, who on his day is a very decent quarterback.
Yes.
He's not Eli Manning.
No.
They have not faced a wide receiver core and a quarterback with this elite status yet in the playoffs. And I think that secondary is in for a rude awakening. That is what the Patriots' weakness has been this whole season. I've already said it. That defense is just horrendous. And if you can have a defense, talking about the Giants defense, if they can hold the Patriots under 30 points, Eli and the Giants have to win this game. It's in their court. The ball's in their court. They have to capitalize on just the horrendous defensive, not necessarily scheme, but just the lack of talent on that side of the ball for the Patriots.
Let's look into your crystal ball real quick. Tell me one key aspect of the game that you think has to happen for the Giants to win.
Has to be get pressure on Brady. The front four has to get past that offensive line. They have to disrupt the timing of Brady. They have to get him uncomfortable in the pocket, and they have to force him to throw some bad throws. So that front four forcing bad throws and the secondary capitalizing on the bad throws and getting some turnovers, that has to be the key to the game.
All right, you're all joking aside, your pick.
I'm going with the Giants. I would say I really see the Giants by at least 7. I'm going to say conservatively, though, I'm going to say a 35 to 29.
I'm going to take the Giants as well. If you have any questions, comments, please contact us at our Facebook
Mm-hmm.
page, facebook.com/Sports Club NFL. If you have any comments, you can also tweet us at Sports Club NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it for Bryce and Jeremy and Matt. Guys, enjoy the Super Bowl, and we'll see you next week.
Go Braves.